Hello you guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing a full day of eating, which I haven't done one of these in so freaking long, but people have been asking, so I was like, you know what? It's about freaking time. Let's do it up. I feel like the reason why, because I realized I haven't like showed you guys what I eat, just like in general. Like I feel like in my vlogs, I haven't really showed you guys much of what I'm eating. And I've been thinking about how I want to say this the right way. I don't want to say that like I'm unintentional or like not caring about what I'm eating now. But in previous years, I definitely was just more food focused in general. So like I still think I'm pretty like I'm the same amount of intentional as I was previously, but I just don't overthink think it as much as I used to, and I'm not as like consumed by it. For that reason, I didn't really show a lot of it because I felt like I was like, I'm just kind of like flowing and eating. I don't know, I didn't really have as much of like a plan of attack as I used to have. I don't know if that's making sense, but basically like I still eat to look, feel, and perform a certain way, all mindfully. I don't track anything, but I still like am intentional with the way that I'm eating, but I'm just not so like hyper focused on it as I used to be, or like food focused, or so concentrated on it where the point where I'd be like thinking about it all day. So I still am like confident and comfortable and happy with my food choices. It just may not seem as like thought out as it once was because I think I'm just more used to eating this way. It's become more of a habit, and also I'm able to like intuitively know what my body needs. I can listen to my hunger cues more easily and things like that. So that's kind of explaining a little bit where I'm at eating wise. Of course, disclaimer, I'm not saying that you should eat this way. I'm not a dietitian, I'm not a nutritionist. This is just what works well for me, where I'm at in my fitness journey. I've been training for like 5-6 years now, and this is just what works for me. It's what I eat. I like to eat as whole food based as I can, and always like protein focused with each meal. So that's kind of the plan of attack that you're going to see throughout this whole day. Okay, let's go and make some breakfast. My favorite meal of the day. I eat the same thing every day. Sorry guys, nothing's changed.
So casually keep diving into concrete, so bittersweet, huh? Keep losing sleep while driving in the backseat. What's left of me? Drowning in what feels just like an ocean. Negativity is getting closer. Hard to keep the heat when it gets colder. You know, sometimes everything just gets hard. Sometimes everything just gets harder. Feeling like I'm missing some parts. Days just keep on getting.
All right, this is the breakfast that I have pretty much every day, except we'll change up the form of the eggs, but pretty much it's always eggs, bacon, and oatmeal. I always have a whole thing of water, a big water bottle, before I actually sit down and have breakfast, which that reminds me, I also have matcha. I use matcha from Whole Foods, and I just mix it with hot water, and that's literally it. But this is just one egg white, one egg over easy because I like the runny yolk. I've been into it lately. 2 pieces of turkey bacon, a full serving of oatmeal with cinnamon, almond butter, dark chocolate chips, and strawberries. It's amazing. I never get sick of it.
Drowning in what feels just like an ocean. Negativity is getting closer. Hard to keep the heat when it gets colder. You know, sometimes everything just gets hard. Sometimes everything just gets harder. Feeling like I'm missing some parts. Days just keep on getting much darker. Even when I'm down in the low, I remember what you were saying. Sometimes all you need is a
Okay people, it's a little bit later, and I actually have real clothes on because we're gonna podcast, and I just felt like putting on real clothes, I guess. Oh yeah. Whenever we have grapes in the house, every time I go into the fridge, I always take a handful of grapes. I just do. For lunch, I'm having some leftover turkey chili that my dad actually made. And it's turkey chili, but like it looks like soup because there's so much chicken broth and bone broth in here. But it's basically just ground turkey. There's some black beans and cannelli beans, mushrooms, some green chilies, And then I topped it with cilantro, and I think that's all that's in here, and obviously like onion and stuff like that. I try to, with every meal, like ideally, I like to have like a protein, carb, fat, and vegetable in each meal ideally. So like breakfast, my fats were from the almond butter and the 2 egg yolks that I had. The protein was from the eggs, also a little bit in the almond butter and the turkey bacon. And also I guess there's some fat in the turkey bacon as well. And then the carbs are obviously coming from the oatmeal, and the fruit is for my micronutrients, the strawberries. Same thing kind of applies here. So the protein is mainly in the ground turkey. There's also fat in the ground turkey, and then carbs are in our beans, and then a little bit of vegetables from the mushrooms and the green chilies, not a lot. So that's kind of like the principle that I follow to have like a very balanced, nutritious meal, and one that like really satiates me and curbs my hunger, because I feel like people who feel like they can eat a lot and then just like never feel full, I would say to like take a look at the quality of your calories and what you're eating. Like if I were to have like a very just carb heavy meal, I know myself and I wouldn't feel full. So choosing things that I know will make me feel full, feel satiated, like having meals that have fat and protein in them as well and are high in fiber, I know like that will definitely satiate me and make me feel full. Also, a big reason why I love my oatmeal in the morning is because it genuinely like makes me feel full for so long. Like I've had times where I'll have like Kodiak cakes instead or toast, and it does not keep me as full as long as oatmeal does. So that's why like my main reason why I love having it every morning. I want a little bit more, so I'm gonna go get some more, that's all. She's hot though. Alright, so I'm going to the gym. It is leg day, and I figured I'd show you my fit. So this is hot soccer mom vibes, as you guys know, from Livfiit. I'm wearing just a plain black sportswear from Livfiit as well. The Amplify shorts, and in some sort of gray, I forget what color gray it is. And then I'm just wearing their new very loose fitted joggers. So all Livfiit as always. I just finished podcasting, and that episode was a full hour. And I don't know why I feel, you know when you like talk for a long time, I feel like, I don't even know. Alright guys, we arrived at the gym, and it's actually raining today, believe it or not. So, but I had a chocolate rice cake, almond butter, banana, and cinnamon for a pre-workout snack. I've been eating that for literal months, maybe even a year now. Never gets old. And I only put half of the banana on the rice cake, and then I ate the other half by itself. So that's my pre-workout snack. We're gonna go hit legs. I think I'm gonna do like just a total leg day, little bit of quads, little bit of hammies, little bit of glutes, the whole shebang. So I hope you guys enjoy this little workout montage. What's up, party people? Welcome to this leg day. So after my warm-up, I went into squats for the first time actually since breaking my wrist, which was pretty exciting. So I did some warm-up sets before I got into my working weight, and then I did 4 sets of 12, 10, 8, and 6, increasing weight as I was decreasing reps, and I worked my way up to 145 pounds. So in terms of squat form, basically I always pretend like I'm sitting back and down into a chair. I'm keeping my core nice and tight, my chest nice and open. I also am engaging my lats in my back to help also for stability, to stabilize the weight on my shoulders. And I try to lower myself till I'm at least parallel with the ground. I don't have crazy good ankle or hip mobility, so I don't really reach a lot of depth, but this goes for anyone. As long as you're hitting parallel with the ground, that is considered a full squat rep. And when I'm pushing my hips back and down like I'm sitting into a chair, that's going to shift my weight onto my heels, and then I'm going to drive up through my heels to push myself out of that squat to help engage my glutes as well and just have proper weight distribution.
And when I'm coming out at the top, I'm not shoving my hips forward and causing any stress in my lower back. I'm squeezing my glutes, tensing them, but without thrusting my hips forward. So then from there, I went into Smith machine RDLs for 4 sets of 10. Now there's a very common question, what's the difference with an RDL and a stiff leg deadlift? RDL, I always do them on a Smith machine because the biggest difference in my opinion and like in my experience is the RDL stops like in the middle of your shin, and I find that that's like, it's a shorter range of motion than a stiff leg deadlift, and so that's why I use the Smith machine, because it already limits my range of motion anyways. Also really quickly, I do use wrist straps ever since I broke my wrist, and I actually really love them just to help with my grip as well. So in terms of form here, always initiate the movement by pushing your hips backwards. Don't think of it like you're just bending over. You want to push your hips backwards like you're trying to close a door. You're keeping your hands nice and close to your shins to keep that weight nice and close to your shins. I'm keeping my core nice and tight and my pelvis tucked, again, to prevent any lower back pain and also for stability. I'm keeping my neck in line with my spine throughout the whole entire movement. And as I'm pushing my hips back, that's going to shift the weight onto my heels. I'm then driving up through my heels, pulling up with my hamstrings and my glutes to pull up that weight. Driving up through your heels is just going to help a ton with glute recruitment and engagement and just firing the correct muscles. And I always think to myself that my hands are just hooks for the weight. So then from there, we moved into step ups. I did 3 sets of 8. Then I dropped the weight and did 10 reps. And then I was like, nah, you can do the heavier weight. So then I did heavier weights again for 8 reps. So in terms of step ups, this is great for just honestly everything, your quads, your inner thighs, and your glutes. And so the biggest thing here with step ups is you want to try to eliminate momentum when you can. It's super easy to cheat with this movement. So in terms of that working leg right here, my left leg, I'm driving up through my heel the whole time. Like I've been saying, I position my foot out enough so that when I'm at the bottom of that step up, my knee is stacked over my heel or my ankle in order to again help have the best glute recruitment and glute engagement, which is always my goal. So you're going to drive up with that working leg's heel, and you're going to try to eliminate pushing off with that back leg. Something that helps me is I try to drag my back foot's toe along the box to help with stability and just to help prevent me from pushing up so far from the ground and trying to use momentum. And another big thing that helps is when I'm lowering down, I try not to just completely drop down with no control. I try to control the lowering portion of the movement at least a little bit to keep some constant tension and to keep my muscles engaged. Keeping your core tight is also super important with this movement. Then I went into cable pull-throughs for 3 sets of 12. This is a great hamstring and glute movement just for your whole entire posterior chain. So you're going to use a rope attachment. You're going to walk out from the cables to make sure that there's constant tension throughout the whole movement. I'm never letting the weight re-rack itself on the weight stack. Same thing here. I'm always driving up through my heels. I'm keeping a slight bend in my knee here, in my leg, to protect my knee. The more knee bend you do have, the more glute focus it's going to be as opposed to hamstring focus. So keep that in mind. If you want this to target more hamstrings, keep your legs a little straighter than I am here. But I have a nice big stance about shoulder width apart, and I'm driving up through my heels and squeezing my glutes to thrust my hips forward and really have a good contraction. So then I went into a Glute Med Kickback for 3 sets of 15. As you can tell, we've gone into some big compound movements and then we've worked our way into more isolation movements. So this is going to hit the upper outer portion of your glutes, some smaller glute muscles. We have the glute medius and minimus. So I'm actually kicking out at about 45 degrees to the side, and I also have my foot externally rotated. So my toe itself is also pointed out at about a 45 degree angle as well. So I'm keeping a nice slight bend in my leg again to also protect my knee. My core is nice and tight for stability and to protect my lower back. I'm keeping my upper body very stationary to also eliminate any lower back pain and also to minimize any momentum that's carrying me through this move. And I pretend like I'm trying to kick a can across the floor. So I'm really driving out with my heel and honing in on that contraction. Then I was feeling a burnout for whatever reason, also because I didn't do like my normal hip thrusts or any bridge motion. So I was like, I just feel like doing it. So I did a burnout of glute bridges with a 55-pound kettlebell, and I also used a band to recruit all 3 muscles in the glutes here, making sure that my knees are pressed out throughout the whole entire movement to recruit all areas of the glutes as well and resist that band. So I did 40 here, and then I did 40 completely just body weight after I rested for a little bit. So same thing here. As you can tell, my knee is kind of stacked over my ankle again. I find this position has the best glute recruitment. If it's out too far, I feel it way too much in my hamstrings. If it's too close to my bum, I don't feel it really at all in my butt. So that's kind of the sweet spot for me to actually have glute recruitment. Also, can we take a second for my hamstrings here because she was popping? But then same thing, I'm just driving up through my heels to drive my hips up to the sky and squeeze my glutes.
Alright people, workout went actually really well. The gym was absolutely crowded, packed with 13-year-old boys as always, but the workout itself was good. I feel like I did some exercises that I don't do all the time. I actually squatted for the first time since breaking my wrist, which was exciting. My strength, this lighting is atrocious, but my strength was better than I thought it was gonna be on there. I was surprised that it didn't feel harder, and B, my doctor always made it seem like I wouldn't be able to brace myself at all with my wrist. Like, I felt like there was little to no pressure on my wrist, like bracing the bar. But maybe it's just because my mobility and strength in my wrist has gotten better. I don't know, but it didn't seem like a big deal. But anyways, so now I'm back home and my father made some dinero, some dinner, and I was going to show you what we was having. So we have some salmon for carb and protein source, good sources of omega-3s as well, really good healthy fats. Some sweet potatoes, underrated bro. This is our starchy carb, and of course some ketchup. I have to have ketchup with my sweet potatoes. It just really elevates the experience. This is just some steamed plain broccoli for our veggies. And then we also have a little side salad on the side. And we usually just dress it with good seasons. It's like this packet that you mix with olive oil and balsamic vinegar. So this is dinero, dinner, cena. Well, do you want to come in for a second? Alright, my dad is here. Peek your head around the corner.
No, I'm good. Just turn the light up.
Alright, he's already gone. But anyways, my sister's actually coming in to visit the sister above me, so we're going to pick her up from the airport. But I'm taking my dessert on the road because y'all know I gotta have dessert. So honestly, nothing's changed. I've showed these before. This is why I was hesitant to do another what I eat in a day, because like it's just redundant. But these are dark chocolate Oreo thins. Underrated, and they're just little and cute, and they're perfect like little serving size. And I just like that I can kind of grab a couple and munch on them, you know. So we're gonna take 2 for the road. So I usually stop eating around like 7:30, 8 o'clock, depending on how late we eat dinner, but I usually eat dessert like literally right after dinner, and then that's just it. I don't have another snack before bed or late night snack or anything like that. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this and got some meal ideas and got more insight into what I eat and how I feel my body. I'm sending you guys so much love as always, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one with better lighting than this. Hasta luego.